Hello and welcome to Atypical Talk with Oge. I am Daniels, and as you can see, I'm taking over from Oge for the meantime. She's feeling out of sorts, I guess. Today's episode, we'll be talking about a very, very important topic. It's causing a lot of upheaval in real life and a lot of frenzy on social media as well. Yes, it's suicide and depression. Yeah. So on today's show, we have a guest. On my right, it's Atypical Lawal. She's a psychologist. And then on my left, it's Oge. Yeah. All right. So but before we proceed, we'll be reading our mantra, the pineapple spoon.
So since I'm taking over from you today, I guess I have to do the honors, right?
Yeah, you
so
do.
the pineapple spoon. That we all seated here will express our opinions without disregard for the next person. That we will deliberate and not quarrel, argue with logic and reason, not sentiment and pettiness. So you take notes. That our opinions and ideals are not mandated on anyone and is subject to further verification. That we how do you fold this? That we will not impede on one another
or willingly incite provocation.
That we will respect each other's space, opinions, and presence. That we will make what should ordinarily be intense, fun, and pleasurable. That we will seek to educate and enlighten, not exasperate and frighten. Just like the pineapple will be sweet, yet firm and regal. So help me God.
So help us, God. Yes. So, welcome back to the show. It's still on suicide and depression. So, Atypical, what do you think suicide is? Like, to you, what's suicide?
Well, suicide is a deliberate attempt, or sometimes it's successful, to end someone's own life.
Okay. Can we start with what is depression?
Okay.
At what point do you say someone is depressed? Because these days I think everyone just gets sad and says I'm depressed. Even I don't even know the difference between when I'm sad anymore and when I'm really depressed. So at what point do you know that I am actually depressed? You are depressed. Like, at what point can someone say
That you know what, it's depression that's wrong with me.
Okay. Depression, usually people mistake sadness and depression.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that.
Well, that's because one of the major symptom of depression is sadness. That's what you usually see, sadness. But at the point that you say you're depressed, the sadness is not going. And also there's a difference between just general sadness and depression. General sadness is directed at one thing, usually. There is a causing factor and you're sad about that one thing. For instance, grief. Your mother passed, for instance. You're sad about your mother passing. But depression is all encompassing.
So it's not just one thing.
It's not just one thing. You feel worthless. You feel like there is no end to your sadness and that you cannot come out of it. Also, there are other symptoms. You feel dejected. You might lose your appetite. You might gain too much appetite. You might sleep too much. You might sleep too little.
You might have sex a lot. Yeah, people actually do that.
Yeah,
Trust me,
true.
people actually, it's
I
like a
think
rebound
so, right?
for them.
So
I feel like that's what I would do if I were depressed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay, so do you think depression is clinically diagnosed? Like, do you think you have to go to like a medical personnel to ascertain that depression is wrong?
Well, if you go to a medical person, they will most likely refer you to a psychologist or a psychiatrist to diagnose you clinically with depression.
So you actually have to go to the hospital to
Yes,
certify.
to diagnose it, yes. Because
Wow.
usually with depression, you cannot come out of it without professional help. Like I said, the most important feeling in depression is the feeling of hopelessness. You feel you can't come out of it. And that is where depression links to suicide.
Okay, so do you think thank you for that for that pathway. Do you think they're mutually exclusive or mutually inclusive? What I mean is, do you think one can be depressed and not suicidal? Or do you think every depressed person has a tendency to be suicidal?
Well, every depressed person has a tendency to be suicidal, but not all of them actually become suicidal.
Okay.
When you're depressed, you have two options. Either you get help or you end it. You end the pain.
Oh, wow.
Most of the time, suicide is not just someone waking up one morning and saying, well, I want to end my life today.
Yeah.
No. It takes a lot of, hopelessness to get to that point. And
Deliberation, right?
you deliberate on it. And at the end of the day, the pain just gets too much. You feel you can't do anything else, and then you have two options. Either you get yourself up and go get external help, or you try and end the pain.
Okay, are there like symptoms of depression? Because a lot of times we stay with people, they put up a show, a front that they are happy, they are okay, but they are dying inside.
So how do you
So-
glean?
Yeah,
Exactly. How do you glean that this person is depressed?
depressed? Because sometimes you may not even see the symptoms until the person gets really suicidal or takes
Or you see a sniper bottle by the person's
exactly
side.
and taking it.
Most of the time, though, what tends to happen in depression is that in a case where the person is pretending, you usually need to look more closely. Okay, so for instance, the person who is depressed will most of the time lose interest in the things that used to pleasure the person before. So for instance, you have a friend who used to go to the cinema with you a lot, and for some reason, the person is having more and more excuses. I'm busy. The person might not come out and say, oh, I'm sad, or I don't have energy, or I'm not interested anymore. They might say things like, I'm busy, or I'm just not interested in the cinema anymore. I'm off it. I'm off cinema now.
Yeah.
I'm on to something else.
In denial.
In denial. No, not in denial actually. They are just putting up a front.
In front.
Many times people who are depressed feel like other people can't understand
What they're going
what they're
through.
going
What they're
through.
going through.
And they're frustrated about it, and they feel they can't do anything about the frustration, hence the hopelessness that I talked about.
So right now in this country, I would say that the suicide rate is really blooming.
Yeah, true.
Why do you think this is the way it is? Why do you think this is so? Why do you think people are now resorting to killing themselves? As against 4 or 5 years ago, I wasn't really hearing about this as much.
I think the question should be, do you think Nigeria is doing enough to help its suicide victims? Do you think we are doing enough in this country to prevent people from going from depression, like giving them the help they need basically when they're still depressed before they hit the suicidal point?
Okay. Well, we don't have, as a country, we don't have enough mental health facilities. Not yet. The ratio of mental health professionals to the population is really, really low. And the awareness is still, we've started the awareness.
Yes.
There's a lot more awareness now than there was 4 or 5 years
yeah.
ago.
True.
But still, we are still not there yet at a place where people who need help for depression can just up and say, I'm going to get help. There's a lot of stigma around mental health. For instance, I was doing an internship about 4 years ago, and we're in the psychology department, and sometimes we had clients who would try and sneak in so other people wouldn't see them coming into the psychology department to get help.
To get help.
Because they think people might say that it's madness.
I think our
or something
conditioning
like that.
also matters. Our conditioning, the way we condition our kids to grow. Most of us when we're little will come to meet our parents that we were depressed. Maybe we just saw the word in a novel or something. But then it's a feeling that we're having, and then we come to, tell our folks
they
that
ask
were depressed, and they ask you, what are you thinking about?
What are you
Are you
thinking
paying?
about?
Are you paying
Are you
school
paying-
fees? I think we were dismissed a lot as children, and so we grew up thinking that we cannot express ourselves. Let's not even talk about the men. That brings me to my next question. Who do you think is more at risk? Suicide, the men or the women?
Okay, so according to the statistics, women report depression more than men.
More than men.
But men are more likely to attempt suicide.
I think, yeah,
I
makes
agree,
sense.
because
Makes sense.
they don't express themselves as the women.
Well, in the world we live in today, sadly, men are held up to this kind of ideal. I'm not saying all men, but
Yeah.
most
Most
men
men.
feel like they are held to some sort of ideal to be to be strong,
to be masculine.
and unfortunately, that might mean that they are not very comfortable with expressing feelings. And expressing feelings is seen as feminine, so which is why the women just pick up on that. If a woman came and said, "Oh, I'm so sad, I'm tired, I'm tired," you know, I'm not saying it will be very well received or in all situations, but it will be more. It's more likely to be better received than if it's coming from a man.
Exactly. This applies to even rape cases, like rape cases. Yesterday, I was talking about on my Facebook feed. I was speaking about rape victims, and then one guy came and commented, "I wonder why no woman has tried to rape me before. I mean, I've been looking for a woman to rape me. I'm serious." And I'm like, "You don't make light of rape." He said, "I'm speaking for myself." And sincerely, that's not the first time I'm going to hear that from a man. You know, they make light of rape to the point where you just dismiss it when it's a male child. When a male child tells you, "Oh, you're like, at least your organs are not as..."
You know, the thing is,
it's just...
I think in our country now, a lot of men liken rape to just sex. They don't see rape as what it is. Do you understand? They don't see rape as a violation of rights. They don't see it as you treading down on someone's humanity. They see it as it's sex. No matter how violent it is, it's sex. So, and because men are generally seen as sexual beings, they feel as though, I think it's just an ordinary, and that's why you hear things like, if a girl should get raped now, you hear a man say, "What was she wearing? Where was she going to? Why was she going to where she was going to? Why would you put yourself in?" So yeah, a lot of I think conditioning matters a lot. And if we really look intricately into these things, you find out that the way we have been conditioned actually is playing out on a lot of these things that's social issues now, like suicide, you know, and all of this. Yeah. So let's not even digress.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so do you think people actually attempt suicide to cause some sort of pandemonium, like to attract attention to themselves?
Okay, if you look at the trend on social media now, we are seeing a case whereby there's a repetition in the mode of the suicide with sniper. That's the predominant thing.
Sniper.
So there is something called copycat suicide.
Okay.
Where someone sees, another person end their life over something that they feel they can relate to, and then they go and do the same thing.
All right, hold that thought. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we will still talk it's suicide and depression on Atypical Talk with Oge. Welcome back to Atypical Talk with Oge. We still have our guest on the show. It's Atypical. Yeah. So you wanted to ask her a question.
What do you advise we do when we see a friend or someone we know put up a suicidal post on social media? How do we help this person?
Okay. The best thing to do if you see a suicidal note or someone who's suicidal and expresses it on social media is to immediately direct the person to channels of help also on social media. So
we have those on social media.
Yes, we do have them. We have them
nice.
now. Thank God.
Thank God.
Yes, we have them.
Thank
So
God, yeah.
you have this organization called Mentally Aware Nigeria.
Okay.
So they can tweet at them. They are also on Instagram and Facebook, as far as I know. And then we have national suicide hotlines, and they do work. Linda Keji had them on her blog.
National, like back. Nigerian owned?
Nigerian owned. It's
like the police. The police doesn't work.
It's an NGO actually.
Okay.
An NGO put it up, but it works.
Nice.
And it's national. You can call them from anywhere in the country.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And also, I had an organization called Omna Health Nigeria.
Oh, brilliant.
And we do psychotherapy for people who are going through depression and suicidal ideation.
Okay.
So also they can reach me on social media at Omna Nigeria.
Very helpful.
And they can call my number.
So the number is going to be displayed on your screens. Please, if you see anyone who's depressed, who has a tendency to be suicidal, do not hesitate to call this number. And she's ever ready. I mean, look at her; she's so sweet.
Thank you.
She's ever ready to give. We're tired of the suicide rates in this country. We really are tired. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much. Let's get your final words on this. What's your final words?
Okay. The first thing I want to say is, to everyone out there who's going through a mental health problem, whether it's a depression or anxiety or anything at all, just always know at the back of your mind that just as your body gets ill, your mind gets ill too.
Your mind gets
it's
ill.
just your mind getting ill. You have treatment, you have professionals for it, just like you have professionals for your body. Do not be afraid to ask for help.
Please do not. It doesn't emasculate you if you're a man.
Not at
if
all.
you express yourself as a man, if you tell people that you're depressed, it doesn't make you less of a man. Please, men have higher tendencies to be suicidal, right?
No, men have higher tendencies to attempt.
It's even the worst. I beg, please, you guys should, be more
You're so
vocal.
concerned.
Be more vocal.
Yeah,
Yes, because I'm a guy, so be more vocal, please. We don't want to lose you.
Yes, true.
Another thing I would
Yeah,
like
point
to say is that if you're around someone who is depressed, it can be very stressful. But if you have someone with a mental disorder around you or a mental problem and you're caring for that person, it can be very stressful. You need help as well.
Exactly.
You also need therapy.
I think so too.
You need
Thank you. This is
therapy.
very important to chip in.
Wow.
If you're a
Very,
carer
very.
for someone with a mental illness or even someone with a physical illness, sometimes you have chronic illnesses like cancer,
Yeah.
diabetes. They are more prone to mental illnesses as well
Yes,
because
true.
the care is lifelong.
Exactly.
And their carers also are caring for them without the end in sight.
Yes.
So for things like dementia as well, just
Amazing.
ask for help, and also carers also ask
So
for
you
help.
don't become the one being cared for.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes, all right. So when we come back, we're going to go to our next segment of the show, which is Say Something Nice. I always love that. So you guys should stay tuned for who are saying something nice about. It's still Atypical Talk with Oge, and I'm Daniel. All right, so welcome back to Atypical Talk with Oge. I am Daniels, and this is still Oge, and this is still Atypical, our psychologist. So on today's episode of Say Something Nice, we're talking about a woman who's controversial, she's talented, she's brutal, she's tonto decay. She's tonto decay. So Abeke, please, what do you have? What nice thing do you have to say about tonto decay?
Well, I would say she's fearless. She's very brave in the way that she takes criticism, in the way she fires back. I think I read something about her, is it the National Guild of Actors or something?
She
and
went
then
after them
She
too.
went after, they came for her.
Who is she not
She
going
went
after?
after them. So, in whatever circumstance, she's quite daring.
So you?
Yeah, I think Tonto is a beautiful human being. I think she's beautiful. I like how do I say it? She looks
You like
good
her?
all the time. Yeah, I like she's beautiful.
She's
basically.
someone every woman should aspire to look like. Or
No, I don't think every woman should aspire to look like
That's
just
not
one
shade,
woman.
please.
No, I think she's just a beautiful woman.
yes.
You know, she's one woman who really takes good care of herself, and yeah, in a society where people are used to, once you're a mom, they let go of themselves and stuff. Tonto doesn't play with her looks.
Yeah.
Like neither any day she's always
Yeah, her makeup is
gorgeous.
always on
Yes,
point, yeah.
her makeup is always.
You guys have said everything. What would I now say? Please,
I don't
it's
know.
my turn. So, what I like about Tonto Dike is, just like she said, I think Tonto Dike is a fighter. She has really received a lot of backlash on social media, and I'm sure in real life as well. And yet she's not relenting. Every single day you see her, she's out with her exclamations, with her. She's fearless. She's very fearless, and I think a lot of women should aspire to just be as fearless. Do not allow people to trample on you because you're feminine or you're female. Yes, so I think Tonto Dike drives that. Yeah, thank you. So it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful episode of Atypical Talk with Oge. It's been a pleasure having you on our show. It's been a pleasure having you on this other side of the chair. And so it's still Atypical Talk with Oge, and she's still Oge, and this is still Abike Lawal, and I am Daniels. Please, please, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fab Oge TV. Yeah, and then you get every episode. You could even go back to the previous episode that we've, already put out there. Yes. So until we come away again, I'm Daniel.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.